Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the first house lord in all 12 houses. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So before we start, just a few quick disclaimers. You first want to understand, are there any aspects to your first house lord, or is the first house lord conjunct with any planets? This will make a huge difference in how this first lord will function in your chart. Now, what is the first lord? Well, we have to understand the first house to fully understand what the first lord is trying to do in your chart. So the first house is the moment that you were born. It is representing your rising sign, which was rising from the eastern part of the sky at the moment of birth. This becomes the starting point of your entire chart. So this is the starting point of your life. From this point, this is your journey in life. So this is all about the direction that you are moving and the experiences that you are having. The first house is also about your physical body, about your appearance, how you present yourself to the world, how others perceive you, how you perceive the world around you. It is representing your health and vitality. But most importantly, the first house represents the part of the body which is the head and brain area. So it is all about your intelligence, your ability to make decisions in life. And so then what is the first house lord then? So the Lagna itself in Vedic astrology is known as the ascendant, where the Lagnesha is the lord of the ascendant. And this becomes very important to understand. Whenever we look at a chart in Vedic astrology, you always want to look at what planet rules that house and what is that planet doing. That is going to tell us a lot about the functioning of the house itself. So the first lord then is going to show your direction in life. It is the karmas that you're here to work through in this lifetime. So it's all about your direction. Wherever your first house lord goes, that is where you direct your energy and focus into. And this starts off very early on in life. You will feel drawn to the particular house that your first house lord is placed into. So it's important to understand which planets are ruling over the houses in your chart. So for this video, you want to understand what is the lord of the first house. So if you were born with an Aries rising or Scorpio rising, then Mars is your lord. You want to see where Mars has gone in your chart. Which house is Mars positioned in? If you were born with a Taurus rising or Libra rising, then Venus becomes your lord. If you were born with Gemini rising or Virgo rising, then Mercury will become your lord. If you were born with Cancer rising, then it's the moon. If you were born with Leo rising, then it will be the sun. If you were born with Virgo rising, also some say that Rahu has a huge influence over Virgo because Virgo is all about this material mundane world. So you might also want to see the position of Rahu as well. Scorpio is definitely co-ruled by Ketu. So if you have a Scorpio ascendant, then you want to see where Ketu and Mars are both in your chart. If you have Aquarius rising, then Rahu is also a co-ruler of your sign. So you want to see where is Saturn and also where is Rahu. For Capricorn, it's just going to be Saturn. For Sagittarius, the lord of your first house will be Jupiter, and for Pisces, it will be Jupiter as well. Some say that K2 also has an influence. So for some of you, you also want to see where is K2 at if you have Pisces rising. So let's go ahead and start off by talking about each of the Lagneshas within the 12 houses, starting off with the first house lord in the first house, which is considered to be a very special and auspicious position to be born with. This means that the planet that is ruling over the sign that is in your first house, your ascendant, is with the ascendant. It was actually on the eastern part of the sky at the moment that you were born. So this becomes very special because what this shows is that a lot of the focus of your life is going towards yourself. And this can manifest in negative ways of having very high levels of ego and becoming too self-absorbed. But most of the time, when the Lagnesha is in the first house of the chart, this gives you huge self-awareness. Your journey, your mission in life, where you are directing your energy and focus becomes all about yourself, understanding yourself, formulating your identity, your direction. This becomes extremely important to you. So from a young age, with the Lagna in the first house, you will develop a huge interest around yourself and your identity. This becomes very vital and important to you. The Lagna itself in the first house of the chart is definitely going to give you a sense of confidence and inner self-esteem. You believe in yourself and your direction in life. So this is excellent for success and prominence in the world. Again, you want to look at the condition of the first house lord, but first house lord can give you a great deal of success and recognition. And your image, your way that you're presenting yourself to the world and receiving that recognition becomes extremely important to you. This also can help to increase your intelligence in some cases. Again, you want to see what the first house lord is, but this can give you a high degree of competence, of intelligence, of clarity and decision making in your life. So this can help you with making a lot of major decisions. With this first house lord in the first house, you become a very independent person, a very self-motivated person. You decide your direction in life. You decide everything in life. It falls all on you. The first house lord in the first house can also help with your health and your physical vitality, because again, all of these things are represented by the first house. So if the lord of that house is situated in the first house, then he's going to be very comfortable in this house. So this is going to help with your immune system, with your health in general. And specifically, this can influence certain parts of the body that are ruled over by each of the signs as well. So for example, if you have an Aries ascendant, then this can positively affect your head and brain area as well. If you have Pisces rising, it can affect your feet. So this can give you luck and protection in these specific areas of the body. With the first lord in the first house, this can also make you highly creative and talented, because the first house is the house of creation. It's the moment from which you were born from. So this makes you a highly creative individual. You are highly knowledgeable, talented, dexterous. You have all sorts of capabilities with this position. So again, this can all lend to you becoming someone who's very successful and prominent within society, recognized by others for your talents and abilities. But a lot of this is centered around being independent. This becomes a huge theme of your life. This is ultimately how you find yourself, and your direction is becoming independent, is gaining this understanding of yourself. This is where you're able to find this sense of self-improvement and self-awareness, which will take you in a direction of success in life. Now, on the negative side, the first house lord in the first house can cause a lot of issues with relationships, because any planet that is placed in the first house will directly aspect onto the seventh house of the chart. So this definitely shows that because you are someone who is highly independent and very much about yourself and your direction in life, that you can run into some obstacles when it comes to dealing with relating to others, specifically in your close, intimate relationships. So sometimes first lord in the first house can indicate more than one marriage. If the first lord has gone into the second house of your chart, then this is definitely going to make you very much focus on family, on security, on wealth. This becomes very important to you. So you're very much focused on your finances and resources, and can get a lot of blessings in this area, especially if your first house lord is placed well in that second house. You want to see, is it being afflicted by malefic planets, or is it in a very challenging position? This will tell you a lot about your relationship with wealth and security. But ultimately, the first house lord in the second house can help you in this area, giving you many blessings, giving you many ways and ideas about how to increase your income. And this can be something, again, that starts from a very young age. That first house lord tends to activate in your life very early on. So this can make you very much geared towards working hard and supporting your family. This position definitely gets you wrapped up in your family, and your family can make a lot of demands of you. They can definitely be very close to you, or you can have a very close relationship with your family. Now, if this Lord is in a difficult position, then you may have a desire to leave your family situation to gain freedom from this area. But there is something that karmically binds you to your family because there is a mission to fulfill in this area of your life. First Lord in the second house can also give you very high standards in a lot of areas of life, as far as the things that you are trying to acquire in your life, or even the people through your relationships that you're trying to acquire. You can have very high standards about what you will allow and accept into your life. And this can sometimes create difficulties with dissatisfaction. The second house also is about your values. Specifically, it's about the values that were instilled into you from a very early age, from your family environment. But also, it is about what you value, what you hold close to you. So you have very strong values, very strong belief systems. You are all about your morals, all about your principles with this position. And this can also create some problems for you sometimes as well. This could make you very much about standing up for your beliefs, which can be in conflict with other people as well. So this is something that you want to be careful of. But ultimately, this gives you a strong base, a strong foundation, because you're focusing your energy into what gives you this sense of security. Sometimes this can also create obstacles around your security that involves other people, because the first Lord is going to aspect directly on the 8th house of your chart. So you may find that there are arguments over inheritance. There are issues in this area, sometimes even around business partnerships that can be seen through the 8th house as well. So definitely this position of first Lord in the second house is trying to give you a sense of self-sufficiency, about finding ways to make money on your own. And sometimes with this position, you do end up creating your own business, or you continue on with your family business. If the first house Lord has gone into the third house of your chart, then this is a very powerful position. This can make you someone who is highly skillful, creative, talented in many ways. This third house is all about developing your skills and putting this to use. It's about asserting your efforts in life, making yourself known, communicating your thoughts and ideas to the world. So this can definitely give you a huge talent around communication. This is a strong suit for you. So definitely, if you are using your communication abilities or whatever skills or talents you have in that third house, this can help you to achieve great success in life. This can be a position where you have multiple income streams sometimes, because again, this can give you a multitude of talents and abilities that you can use in your life. Communication can also help you in many situations when it comes to smoothing over issues and concerns. And sometimes, because this third house is originally signified by Mars, this can indicate that you are in careers that involve being daring, being bold, being courageous, where you actually have to use your communication skills to argue your point, to stand up for other people, to fight for a worthy cause. This can be seen as well. Along with this, just doing careers that involve courage, that involve going into dangerous situations can be seen. But anything that is involved with communication in general, dealing with social media, journalism, writing, all of this can be seen with this position as well. Now, because this first Lord is going to aspect directly to the 9th house of the chart, you can find that you have some conflicts with your father, with teachers, gurus, mentors, people who are trying to give you instruction in life. This definitely becomes a very independent position where it's all about putting your efforts forward in life. This is how you succeed, is by actually taking the initiative. So you can find that you clash with people who try to give you guidance, who try to give you a sense of direction. Sometimes this can also indicate difficulties around foreign situations, foreign connections, foreign travel, all of this being connected with that 9th house of the chart. And definitely, if this is a malefic that is in this third house, then sometimes this can also indicate that you're getting into conflicts with siblings, with friends, with close people. But if this is a benefic in the chart, then you could also have a very close relationship with these people as well. But somehow your friends, your cousins, your siblings, your neighbors, people closest to you definitely become a huge part of your karmic journey. If the first house lord has gone into the fourth house of the chart, then your home and early upbringing is going to become a huge part of your journey in life. So you can get a sense of happiness and satisfaction from that earlier part of your life if this is a positively placed first lord in the fourth house. This can definitely be seen. But even if this is a challenging situation, the earlier part of your life still becomes a very important factor. You are definitely influenced by that earlier part of your life. You have very strong memories, very strong attachments to this area. So if this was challenging, if this was difficult, then some of these traumas and difficulties can stick with you later on in life, which means that there's a lot of psychological work to be done with this position sometimes. This can also give you support through your family, through your loved ones with this position. It can give you happiness in marriage because happiness in marriage is also seen through the fourth house of the chart. So this can be excellent for close bonds, for happy connections with this first house lord in the fourth house of the chart. But this can also create some difficulties around your career situation because, again, this is going to aspect directly onto the 10th house of the chart. So, this opposition that's happening between the 10th and 4th house means that there is a need to find a work-life balance. Typically, with this first house lord in the 4th house of the chart, you are someone who values comfort, who values security, who values a sense of connection and nurturing. And so you can seek to have this in your career environment as well, but this can create some obstacles for you. Typically, when this first house lord is placed here, this is an excellent position for self employment, from doing work from home with this position. You could also be getting involved in work that has to do with home and property. This can be a great position for real estate, for all sorts of property concerns. The fourth house is also a house of education because, again, this is the house that deals with the connection with the mother and the family, and the mother becomes the first teacher in our lives. So, definitely, this can show that you have a great education with this position, and this can show a close bond with the mother also. You can be very much in tune with your mother's line of the family. Sometimes this can also make you a teacher yourself. You can be someone who instructs and guides others. If the first house lord has gone into the fifth house of the chart, then this is going to put a lot of focus on your prominence and success in life. You can be someone who is highly influential, someone who is even famous sometimes with this position. This definitely is going to give a good impression to others. People see your skills, they see your capabilities, they see your ability to really put yourself out there. And this can be a position where you are striving to be unique, to be excellent in your approach to your work. Again, this is something, if you're working under a boss, you will get recognized, you will get promotions, you will get opportunities through your career because people see your skill set, they see your abilities with this position. This can also get you interested into stock market, trading, gambling, all sorts of speculative gains with this position as well. But you want to see the condition of this first house lord. If it is poorly placed here in the fifth house, you can actually get into losses by getting into speculative business. So you want to be very careful about how this is placed in your chart. This can also make you very creative. Again, you strive to be unique, to really stand out, to be excellent in your field. So you are someone who comes up with a lot of creative ideas, or you can even get involved into the arts, into performing arts, into all sorts of creativity. This can also make you really close with children as well. So you can make an excellent parent with this position, or you could do careers that are involved with children. You can get into education, you can be a teacher with this position, anything along those lines. You have a very close connection with children and a sense of youthfulness that comes out when you are connecting with younger people. But definitely with this placement, this makes you very much focus on education, on status, on prominence, on your success, on fame. All of this becomes very important to you. However, if this Lord is badly placed in the fifth house, then you can also find that there's a lot of struggles and obstacles in your education. You may find that you have to apply more effort, more patience in this area, or you may find that you have breaks in your education, that you take a long break and come back later, or that you choose the work life over education in some cases with this placement as well. But ultimately, this is a placement of you being unique, of you expressing yourself. This is how you find yourself and your direction in life. So if the first house Lord has gone into the sixth house of the chart, well, this is a little bit of a difficult position because the sixth house is where we deal with illnesses, obstacles, competitors, all sorts of conflicts in life. So if the first house Lord, which is all about your direction, all about yourself in life, has gone into this difficult sixth house, then you will definitely run into a lot of challenges and obstacles within your life. At the same time, it gives you the power to deal with those obstacles also. So you may be drawn to a lot of challenging situations, a lot of obstacles. You may be a natural problem solver with this position. Definitely with the first house Lord here in this sixth house, you will find great success when you are giving service, when you are helping those in need. This becomes a huge part of your journey. On the negative side, if you have difficult placements here, then sometimes you can cause more problems than actually helping by getting into too much conflict, too much argument, too much situations around enemies and obstacles. So you want to be very careful about how you're using this position. But this definitely makes you a protector, a helper, someone who can help those in need, someone who can go into challenging situations and really make a difference within society. With this first house Lord in the sixth house, you could get involved in medicine and law, in all sorts of service fields, counseling, mentoring, helping those in need becomes a huge focus of your life. You also can have a very strong connection with animals as well. So you may have a close pet with this position, or you may work in a field where you are helping animals, or you may be into animal rights. In general, this position makes you someone who is all about fighting for what's right, fighting against the obstacles and battles of life. So you can stand up for all sorts of rights in society. You can be all about the welfare of society with this position. Sometimes this can create obstacles in marriage and partnership, though, because the sixth house is 12th from the seventh house, which makes the sixth house all about divorce and litigation. So you may find that you run into some obstacles in this area as well. Again, this is all about using this in a positive way rather than using this to start conflicts and unnecessary battles. Because the first house is directly opposite from the 12th house as it sits here, you also could get involved with foreign lands, foreign cultures. And again, you could find yourself helping in foreign lands, making a difference, helping those in need in third world countries, in difficult places within the world. You could also find a huge interest in spirituality and mysticism, which could help you a great deal. This can help you to find a sense of peace and calmness amongst a lot of the obstacles and difficulties in life. Also, you could find yourself working in isolated facilities, which is represented by that 12th house, working in hospitals, prisons, all sorts of institutions. If the first house lord has gone into the second house of the chart, this can be a somewhat difficult position to have, but not necessarily as difficult as the sixth house, which we just covered here. So ultimately, if the first house lord has gone into the seventh house, we can see that your energy, your focus, your mission in life has gone into the house of other people. And this becomes the challenging part of this position, is that you put so much of your energy and effort into other people. You are very much focused and devoted on your relationships, on dealing with the public. And the problem with this is that you can drain your energy. You can neglect your own needs by putting too much of your energy into this seventh house area. And this becomes especially true if this is a difficultly placed first lord here sitting in this seventh house. If this is afflicted, if it's in a difficult position, then this can be especially draining and difficult, where people demand a lot from you, people seek a lot from you, and this can take from your energy levels. So definitely with this position, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take time to yourself. This becomes very important to you. But at the same time, with the first house lord going into the seventh house, so much of your mission becomes about dealing with other people. So for you, you will never feel satisfied unless you are somehow involved with the public, involved with other people. And sometimes you can put too much of your sense of self esteem into how other people see you, how other people relate to you. This becomes very important to your presentation, how you show up, your success, the people who you're connected with. This becomes extremely important to you in terms of your sense of self confidence and self belief. And so sometimes with this position, because it is so draining, because it's so difficult sometimes with people putting demands on you, this can also make you less interested in marriage and other obligations, because definitely with a spouse, with a partner, they're going to demand a lot from you with this position. This becomes a prominent part of your journey in life. Another thing with this position is that this can give very good results in terms of business, because the seventh house is about business. It's all about doing trade, all about working with other people, working with the public, as I've mentioned. So this is an excellent position for business partnership, for business dealings. Now, if this is a difficultly placed first lord, then this is better for self-employment, because you can run into a lot of conflicts in business partnership situations. But ultimately, this becomes an excellent position for dealing with the masses, for doing business, even for politics and for other pursuits that involve dealing with the public. So this can even bring you fame, recognition. You can be seen and noticed with this position for sure. If the first house lord has gone into the eighth house of the chart, this can also be a tricky position. So the first house lord, as I mentioned, is all about your direction, all about where you're putting your energy and focus. It's gone into this very secretive, intense, and transformative house. And so definitely with this position, you have a sense of inner strength and power within yourself, because the eighth house is all about where we deal with crisis situations, where we transform, where we grow, where we evolve, is through this eighth house. So you're someone who has a lot of personal power. You gain power by overcoming obstacles, by removing difficult situations from your life. And definitely transformation becomes a huge theme of your life direction and how you are finding yourself and your purpose. Sometimes, though, you can find some difficult karmas that are created by doing things that are sneaky, that are underhanded with this position. Again, this is a very secretive house, so you want to be very careful about all of your actions in life, making sure that everything is done in the proper way. Spirituality can definitely help you in creating some positive karmas and getting some fortune out of life. This eighth house is all about research. It's all about going into deep study, going into deeper subjects. So astrology, religion, philosophy, all sorts of deeper spiritual subjects can help you in your ability to bring forth positive results in your life. You do want to be careful about your health, though, because the eighth house is the house of longevity. And the first house is definitely about your health and your physical body. So as it comes into this eighth house, sometimes you can be a little bit careless when it comes to your health and how you're treating your body. You can be very much detached from this, and this can create a lot of issues and situations for you. This definitely gives you a lot of courage when the first house lord goes into the eighth house. You're very courageous, very bold, very risk taking. But you want to be careful that those risks are not causing harm to you or to others. This becomes very important to understand. This could definitely get you interested into careers that involve dealing with deeper information or uncovering secrets, like being a spy, detective, doing scientific research. Making breakthroughs and discoveries can be seen with this position. Also, because the eighth house is about crisis situations, you could also be involved in the medical field. You could be a surgeon with this position. You could be in emergency situations. You could be a doctor, a nurse. You could be into difficult situations that require your strength, that require you to defend the lives of others. You could be a police officer. You could be in military. You could be a firefighter with this position. This can all be seen here. Now, if this is a difficult placement with the first lord being in the eighth house, this can also create situations of hidden anger, of all sorts of intense emotions and passions that are kept hidden in this position. And this can lead to exploding. This can lead to dangerous outbursts, to all sorts of emotional issues. So you want to be careful about this, as well as this can have a negative impact on your relationships. This could also get you interested into stock market, into investments, into all sorts of alternative ways of bringing in resources into your life. And so you want to be careful with this if this is difficultly placed in this eighth house, because you can run into a lot of losses in this area. At the same time, if you have a well-placed first house lord in the eighth house, then you can get a lot of opportunities to increase your wealth and gains. This is a house of sudden things, so you can have sudden gains or sudden losses with this position, which is why it becomes extremely important to understand the condition of this first lord. Now, this is aspecting onto the second house of the chart. So this can sometimes create some obstacles in your relationships with family, with close ones. You definitely want to be careful in this area. Another area that it can affect, because the second house is all about your values, all about your sense of inner security. So there can be a lack of security. You could be very critical. You could be very judgmental of yourself, which can also create some obstacles for you. If the first house lord has gone into the ninth house of the chart, then this is typically going to be a positive position, because that ninth house is all about the fortunes that are coming to you. It's a house of good fortune. So definitely, if the first house lord is in this house, you will gain good fortune from life. However, you want to see the condition of the first lord before making any judgments about this placement. Depending upon the planet that is here in this ninth house, this will depend upon how long it will take for some of these fortunes to come into your life. You want to see the maturity of each of the planets that are placed in this ninth house. This becomes very important to understand. And definitely, if K2 is placed here, then the more that you're focused on spirituality, the more that you're focused on giving back, on doing good deeds, this will increase your prosperity and abundance. With some of the malefic planets, though, if you are doing negative, underhanded actions with this position, it can decrease your fortune. So you want to be very careful about all of your actions and decisions in life. This becomes very important to understand. This could also give you a lot of support in life, because again, the ninth house is all about teachers, gurus, mentors, people who are giving you guidance and instruction. So you can find that there is someone who is guiding you in your life, someone who is helping you, giving you a sense of direction, opening up opportunities for you. This can also happen. You can also find that this is positive for your marriage as well. You can have a very happy married life, because this ninth house is connected with marriage as well. We talked about how the Navamsa chart is initiated from that ninth house. And the ninth house itself is going to be 11th to the seventh house of the chart. So it's directly related to the happiness, the things that you're gaining through your marriage. So this can also be seen as well. Now, as this aspects directly onto the third house, you can be someone who's very creative, very talented, very skillful, and especially in areas of communication, of writing, of sharing information, of mass communication, of dealing with social media. All of this can be seen with this position. This gives you excellent communication skills. But you want to be careful about how you're communicating because, again, you can create some negative situations if you are doing things that are underhanded, that are manipulative, that are not positive. So you want to be careful about how you're using this communication ability. Also, because the third house is about short trips, shifting, movement, change, and the ninth house itself is about foreign journeys. You can also find that you travel a lot with this position. And sometimes you can even move to a foreign location or to a distant land within your own country. So moving from East Coast to West Coast, for example, or literally moving into a foreign location, this can be seen. This definitely gets you involved with travel on some level. If you have the first house lord in your 10th house, then this is going to center your life around your career because this 10th house is all about your duties that you perform in life. It's your karma. It's all about the work that needs to take place here in this lifetime. And in this modern age, a lot of this work is centered around career. So you can be someone who is a bit of a workaholic with this first house lord in the 10th house. You're very focused on your work, on your status, on your reputation, on being responsible, on showing up and being disciplined. This becomes extremely important to you. And you seek honor, you seek power, you seek recognition, you seek prominence through your career. And this is definitely something that you can achieve if you are applying yourself. This position becomes all about how you're applying your efforts. Again, this 10th house is about karma. It's about the action that needs to take place. So the more that you are putting in action, that you're taking the steps to move forward, that you are having a disciplined way of how you are achieving your goals, the more that this is going to take you towards success. At the same time, if you're giving up on your work, on your responsibilities, if you are slacking off in this area, then you can find that your fortune can reverse. So you want to be very careful about this. This can also get you connected with very powerful and influential people who can help you move up your career ladder. Sometimes with this position, it can be seen that you are a self-made person as well, that you're someone who generates your own wealth. And definitely you are looking to achieve a sense of success in life. You are looking to continue to move up, to become better in your approach to career. Sometimes you can also get supported by the government, supported by, again, people up in higher powerful positions in society. This can be seen as well. And definitely if you're working under a boss, then you can get a lot of opportunities, promotions. People are going to definitely see your work, your abilities. This becomes very prominent with this position. Sometimes, though, because this is aspecting directly onto the fourth house, you can have some issues related to your home environment, your connection with your mother, with your family. This position gets you really close with your father and your father's side of the family, but it can create obstacles with the mother. So there can be all sorts of situations where the mother wasn't available, where there was a lack of emotional nourishment, or where you're just not on the same page as your mother. You have different belief systems, different ways of seeing things, and there can be a lot of conflict and disagreement. This could also, though, get you involved with career matters related to the fourth house as well, dealing with property matters, dealing with teaching, dealing with caring for others, dealing with children. All of this can be seen through this position as well. If the first house lord is in the 11th house of the chart, then this is definitely going to bless you in your life. Again, you want to see how this is placed. Is it in a difficult position? Is it not? This becomes very important to understand. But either way, if this is in a challenging position, this is going to push you to work even harder to try to achieve these gains in life. With the first Lord in the 11th house, you can receive a lot of help and support through others because this 11th house is all about networking, all about friendship, large groups, and societies. So you can find that you attract a lot of support to you. People love you. You can have a very friendly and cheerful personality that people are definitely attracted to. So this can bring to you a lot of opportunities for success in life. Definitely, this is a position where you're focused on increasing your gains and increasing your contacts, increasing your sense of prominence in the world. And with this position, you can definitely find that you get an increase in your wealth, in your gains. But with this position, it's also about giving back because the 11th house is originally connected with Aquarius, which is about humanitarian work. It's all about giving back to the collective. So, with all of the wealth that you are attracting, you will find that you will gain the most wealth when you are helping others, when you are giving back through charity, through situations of helping out in society. This becomes very important. And you can definitely get involved in groups, in society, in politics, and all sorts of situations where you're trying to make a difference, where you're trying to better society. This becomes a very central focus to you. You can also be like a mentor, a guide to others, someone who shares a lot with others because, again, you're very much focused on other people with this position. You're focused on the larger group and how you can fit into society. So you're always looking for ways that you can add something to the greater good. So other people can come to you as a mentor, as a guide, as someone to look up to with this position for sure. This could also get you connected with people in powerful positions similar to the 10th house of the chart, where you can find that people help you to move up the ladder of success in your career. This first house lord in the 11th house can also make you someone who's very idealistic, someone who has very high beliefs, high ethics and morals. But you want to be careful that these ideas are aligned with you and your truth. This becomes very important. If these ideas are aligned with something that isn't necessarily positive or isn't serving the greater good, then this can also bring some difficult karmas to you as well. Your friendships become very important to you. You definitely are very involved with friends, and sometimes you can even become the leader of your friend group with this position as well. The first house lord in the 12th house is a very challenging position. The first house lord has gone farthest from itself in this 12th house, which is a house of dissolving boundaries. So there can be a sense of confusion about this position, a lack of self with this position, and definitely an internal quest to find a greater truth for yourself. But sometimes this can feel hard to grasp onto. With this position, you need a lot of isolation, a lot of time to yourself. And this can help you in finding yourself is along this spiritual journey, this internal journey. Some of you can find that you are drawn to a guru or you're drawn to a foreign location that can help you to find this deeper understanding. This can get you interested in astrology and mysticism and all sorts of occult subjects. This can also get you very much interested in foreign lands, foreign cultures, all of this. And this can definitely increase your intuition. You can have full on psychic abilities when the First Lord has gone back into the 12th house. So this makes you intensely spiritual, and this can make you someone who is very selfless. Again, as I've said, the self is lost when the first house lord has gone into the 12th house. So this can be difficult in terms of your sense of self, but this can also make you very caring, very generous, very giving. You can be involved in philanthropy and all sorts of humanitarian causes wanting to help, wanting to make a difference. And this can include humanitarian causes in foreign lands as well. If this is a difficult position for the first house lord in the 12th house, it can also disturb your sleep patterns. It can disturb your sense of inner peace. There can be a lot of restlessness, a lot of wandering happening. And you can find that it's very difficult to get some sleep at night, that there's this constant restlessness within you. And so this can be very challenging. There is a sense of needing to find a sense of inner awareness and inner peace with this position. You need to find stability to ground yourself with this. And so all sorts of spiritual practices, meditation, all of this can help you on your journey of finding yourself and your direction in life. This becomes extremely important to you. You can also work in large institutions, which is represented by this 12th house. Any kind of isolated facilities, hospitals, prisons, educational facilities, all of this can be seen. This can also make you very much interested in wanting to help others, again, because this 12th house is about charity, it's about giving away, but also from this, the first house lord is going to aspect onto the 6th house of service. So you become very service oriented, all about helping those in need. This can also get you very close with animals because that 6th house is small pets as well. So you could have a very close pet, or you could be very much involved with animal rights, working with animals through your career. This can all be seen. And because the 12th house is the subconscious mind, you want to be careful with your mental health with this position. Again, as I've said, it can give a lot of restlessness, a lot of instability, a lot of difficulty in finding a sense of peace and comfort in your life. You can find a lot of drain and restlessness happening within your life. So it's all about finding that spiritual practice, finding that meditation practice, finding that thing that will calm you becomes very important with this position. There could be all sorts of situations with anxiety, depression, with all sorts of fears and things that are happening within the mind that can disturb you. Another factor is that the 12th house is a house of losses. So again, this can deplete your energy because this becomes a house of loss of energy. But also, this is about your expenditure as well. So you want to be careful about how you're managing expenses. There can be unnecessary spending, or there can be too much generosity and kindness to the point where you're depleting your resources. So you want to be careful about how you're managing your money as well with this position. Sometimes on the negative side of things, there can be addiction, there can be escapism, there can be all sorts of situations of trying to avoid the physical, mundane aspects of life. And this definitely makes you more spiritual, more in tune with the other realms and dimensions when this first house lord has come into the 12th house. So you want to be careful about all of these habits that can take you away from your material world. Sometimes there's a need to really put yourself out there to grab opportunities, as this can take you into a lot of isolation.